back. You're listening to Support the Dope Radio. I'm your girl CB with my guest for the night, Lili K. And you were just listening to Tommy off of her debut album, Ruby. And Lily, I just have to say that organ in that song gives me life. Like, I don't know who that
So good.
was.
He killed it.
But they were
He
going to
killed it. His
town.
name is William Kirk. He played on that. Killed it.
Oh, okay. Doing your thing, William, on that organ. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about. Earlier, you mentioned being able to work with people that you really love and are good friends with, and you also mentioned Harold Green is one of the people that I've interviewed on the show. So you are a part of his yearly live show for Flowers for the Living. What
Yes.
type of experience has that been for you? When did you first become a part
It's
of it? And
so much fun.
yeah, looks like it.
Harold and I met a couple of years ago. I think it was really through Spifster that we met, a phenomenal nail artist out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of my best friends, also is one of his best friends. And I think she was kind of the one that encouraged us to get to know each other. And I started going to his kind of like open mic type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we
Soul,
met.
Soul Speak, probably.
Yeah, at Soul Speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Harold and I kind of became close. And I remember one night, I'll make a long story very short, I somehow got Robert Glasper to come with me to Soul Speak. And
Well, I need to
because
start
of
hanging out
that,
with you. Okay.
I
don't know what I've been doing with my life, but clearly not enough.
So I go there and I'm texting Harold. I'm like, okay, I have Robert Glasper with me. Like, we have to do something cool. We have to perform. And so we got up and we just kind of, like, on the spot, improvised a piece about our friendship, especially, like, me being a white woman and him being a black man, and how our friendship is above, like, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really cool. And I think in that moment, we were making up these lyrics. We were like, wait, we're, like, friends. This is really, really awesome. Like, despite all obstacles and stereotypes and things like that. And that was kind of like the turning point in our friendship. We're like real friends now. And so he started including me in Flowers for the Living then, and I've been a part of it ever since. And I love it. It's such a beautiful community and family of people. And the music is phenomenal. I love the shows because we just all stand in the audience and fan out over each other. Like, the loudest part of the audience is the other performers, of us all just yelling at each other, which is amazing. So yeah, I love Harold. He's actually featured on my new album, Planet of Flowers. So I'm really excited to finally release that. But yeah, Harold is great. He's one of my favorite people. I love his family. He's great.
Yeah, they're great. I for the first time since I've heard of Flowers for the Living, I had to miss the live show this year, and I was really upset about it. But
It was so good.
hopefully I can be at the next
You know,
one.
there's a Flowers for the Living on the Riverwalk at the end of the month.
I saw that.
It's on August 27th, I believe. So come to
Yeah.
that. It'll be like a more stripped down version, but it should be really, really fun.
Yeah, make sure if you guys are in the Chicago area, you come check that out. Harold Green's live shows are always amazing. It's really collectively some of the best talent in the city of Chicago, and everyone
So
there
good.
has such like a good heart and good spirit. There's really good people, making really good
Yeah,
music.
you
And
leave feeling so fulfilled.
yeah,
Like, you just feel so much happier and just better about life than you felt when you walked in. And it's like a high that lasts for a couple of days. Like, you just feel so good after a Flowers for the Living show.
yeah. I'm planning to be in Vegas on that day, but
That'll be fun too.
right, I was gonna say, I'll hate to miss it, but I will be in Vegas. But yeah, I have all of his, shows like on my radar because I have to go.
Awesome.
And I'm temporarily in Atlanta for a while, but I do travel back for things like that. I was just there a couple days ago in Chicago, and couple weeks before that,
Oh, okay.
and about a month before
Cool.
that. So I will be popping
All
in,
the time.
right? I'm like, I don't know why I moved. But yeah, I definitely want you to talk about that because so many people, have a connection to Harold in some way or another, and they always have, such a positive experience or some sort of story to to share about their relationship with the show or with Harold. And I just love all you guys. All you guys are awesome.
Oh.
So let me ask you a question about well, I guess because one, like you were saying a minute ago when you had Robert with you, and you being a white woman and a black man, and I know that I saw a post that you made earlier about the terrorism that was happening in Charlottesville over the weekend,
Yeah.
and then even your new single Magic touches on like some sexism issues. Is it important to you for you to use your platform to be able to speak against some of the things that are going on in society?
Yeah, 100%. Like, even though it's a small platform, and I wish people
Hmm.
who had bigger platforms would use them, I
Yeah.
feel like I have to do everything in my power, not only, as an artist, but as a woman to speak for women, as a white person to speak to white people, because, unfortunately, a lot of people will only listen to somebody who looks like them.
Hmm.
And I think it's important for a lot of us who have these privileges to use them to our advantages to improve the lives of everyone,
Right.
Like, I get so frustrated a lot of the time with other white people who are like making excuses and using the,
Hmm.
well, not all white people rhetoric. Like, yeah, like we
Yeah.
get it, but what is that
Hmm.
doing to help?
Right.
So it's just, and I've been speaking very openly and passionately, honestly, my whole life. I've kind of been,
Okay.
I'm from Milwaukee. I always, went to predominantly black schools.
Hmm.
A lot of my biggest influencers and teachers and people who've had great impacts on my life have been black. And I've never understood why shit is how it is. Can I say
Hmm.
bad words?
Yeah,
Can I
of,
cuss?
of
I'm sorry.
course. Of course.
um, and so, the older I got, I started to, realize what my privilege really was and what I could do to make it so white privilege is not what dominates this country or is not a thing that exists at all. So, yeah, it's important. And I could go on, but yes, it is extremely important.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, even if, your platform is small to you, I think that all of us, have a platform, whether we think it's small or whether we think it's big or, or how others perceive our platform to be. If you have one, which you all do, especially since now we have social media, everyone has,
Right.
that
I
a
mean,
small space of the internet where they can feel free to, say what they want or at least speak their mind to their friends and family who are a part of, like their network.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the important part is really speaking to, friends and family. And I think that's at first where I kind of experienced the disconnect was since I have grown up in a lot of like black communities, I haven't been exposed to a lot of like the typical white community that would
Hmm.
have, voted for Trump or that kind of thing. And so it was like me trying to figure out obviously how I look is like the way to connect with these people,
Right.
but like I don't know a lot of these people personally.
Hmm.
So it's been like figuring out how to get through to these people. And that's why I am grateful I have somewhat of a platform because I can reach people who I otherwise wouldn't know or interact with. Even
Absolutely.
though sometimes they are terrible to me and say disgusting things to me,
Hmm.
that's fine. I'll take
Hmm.
one for the team. But like, it's so important for so many white people, especially that are from predominantly white communities and families who have conservative values and things like that to, really start to have these conversations. And they're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be awkward. You might, lose some of these relationships, honestly. But I don't know. I just think it's been past time, but it's like, come on, I don't know how much more needs to happen for you to realize like this has to change, and you are one of the people that has the power to change it. Like white people created this bullshit, white people have to fix it. That's
Hmm.
kind of my view on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. So we mentioned at the top of the show that your new single "Magic" has been promoted by rape crisis centers and domestic violence centers. Tell us a little bit about the story behind "Magic" and how that came about.
So I wrote Magic a long time ago, actually.
Hmm.
It's been one of the ones that I've been kind of sitting on for a while. And it was really just kind of my response. I was thinking of a way to respond to, the sexism and misogyny and just rape culture as a whole that women experience every day, whether it's, outright being attacked or whether it's men telling us to smile when we walk down the street. We all experience it all the time.
Right.
And it's so frustrating. And so I was like, you know what, let me figure out the right way to do this. And so it's a pretty intense song. There's a portion that gets really graphic and calls out like rape and calls out, sexual assault. And then there are other parts that mention like, you call me bitch if I don't smile when you tell me to, or, telling women to stay in their place or that they belong in the kitchen and things like that. And it really just comes down to it. Why I call it magic is, women, I think as a whole, are just the most magical beings on earth. We literally give life to people. And just as we kind of touched on earlier, it's just our feminine energy itself is just something that is so unique. And it's hard to really put a word on or, describe. So that's kind of what created magic. And we put like a really militant drum rhythm to it. I wanted the song to be uncomfortable and intense. I didn't want you to feel like great listening to it,
Right.
But in other terms, kind of by the bridge, like by the end of the song, I do want you to feel as a woman like empowered listening to it. So yeah, it's kind of a journey of a song, and it was really awesome. I did an interview with Milwaukee's NPR station about the song, and they posted, the interview online, and it ended up being shared by like rape crisis centers, domestic violence centers, violence studies programs at universities. It was really, really cool. Like that's the best response that I could ever get for a song. It, being like my music being shared by a center that, could, is helping people is way cooler to me than it being on like the Fader or something like that.
Right.
Because it's actually like doing something good and helping people. So yeah, that's magic.
All right, well, let's take a listen to it. This is Magic by Lili K, and we'll be right back.
They say it's a man's world, that a woman should know her place. They say you're just a girl. What could you have to say? So you talk, just listen. Get you out in the kitchen. Sounding what you're bearing is your midget showing my I'm bearing. I can't help it, don't be selfish if I tell you to smile. Don't be about it. Do as I say, on your back you lay. Take it in your dress like you wanted it anyway. Don't you cry, I'll say you lie, but believe my sign, cause I'm the guy. Now you see, that's the type of shit that weak, pathetic